Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maureen Achu. How you all doing, guys? Okay, guys, finally I am back. I just put to bed, and today I want us to do like a chit chat. Get ready with me. I'll be making up while I tell this my story. Like today I want to talk about my pregnancy. I want to talk about how I gave birth to my baby. So that is the story I have today. Okay, so guys, let's dive right into this gist. I was supposed to give birth to my baby on the 28th of June. So guys, one of those days I went for my doctor's appointment, because I started going for like every week appointments, because I was already like 38 weeks and a day that day. So when I got to the hospital and I went for my scan, as the lady was scanning, and you know how you watch your baby's movement, you watch your baby's head, you watch, everything, how the baby is growing, like she was telling me, I was also seeing it. I noticed that at a point, like her countenance changed, and I'm like, is there any problem? What's the problem? And she was like I don't seem to find any fluid in your womb. Did your water break? And I'm like, no, my water did not break. She was like, did you notice any fluid come out from your body? I said no. So she was like, that she can't find any fluid in my womb anymore, like around the baby, the amniotic fluid that keeps the baby kind of. So she said she could not find any fluid, that I have to see the doctor. Guys, I became so scared, because like before now, a month to this time, I went for a scan and I was told I had excess fluid. So I had to cut down on so many things that I was eating. I had to cut down on a lot of things. So you know what it means, like between having excess fluid and not having any fluid around the baby anymore. So when I got to see the doctor was like, oh, you're 38 weeks pregnant today. The baby is very fine. Baby is already very big. Baby is 38 kg. So I think we have to get this baby out. And I'm like, how? Like, I'm not even like, I'm not even contracting. Doctor was like, did your water break and all that? The normal question that doctor would usually ask, did your water break? And I said, no, my water did not break. Doctor was like, did you not notice any fluid come out from your body? The same question the other lady asked me. I said, no, I didn't notice anything. And guys, this was how the doctor said that they had to start inducing me, because I had already had my first baby. Like I had my first baby normally. Sorry guys, I'm looking down because I'm mixing my powder. Because I had already had my first baby normally, like naturally. So the doctor said, okay, because you had your first baby naturally, we're going to give you all the options to have this baby naturally. So we're going to induce you and make sure you have your baby naturally. So at this point, I was so scared, and I asked the doctor, like, is the baby okay? The doctor said yes, that the baby is okay. So I'm like, okay, can't we wait till the due date? Doctor said no, that because there's no fluid, that if we wait till the due date, that I might have a stillbirth, so that he doesn't want us to risk it. We have to start the inducement that very day. I was like, okay, sir, what if the inducement doesn't work? What will happen? He now told me that they're going to like try all the inducement they can to see that I have the baby naturally, but if it doesn't work, I have to do a C-section. At this point, I was like, doctor, just tell me the truth. Like, what is the best thing for this baby? I really want my baby to be fine. Do I need to do a C-section to get my baby, or you think I should hold on and try the inducement? He was like, we're going to try all our possible best to see that you have this baby naturally, so we're going to go for an inducement. And he was like, I should call my husband. I called my husband, his number wasn't going, and the doctor was like, we have to start this thing today. So he sent me to the maternity ward so that they can start the inducement. So guys, after the assessment, the midwife told me that the baby was very fine. So I asked the midwife, that please, I want to know. Oh, look at this, madam is here. Hi, love. How are you? How are you? Love you. I love you. Guys, I hope my powder doesn't dry off. So I asked the midwife, like, if I don't do this, if I don't start this inducement today, will anything happen to my baby? She said no, that nothing will happen, but that she has to call the doctor to let him know that I'm not ready, that I'll be ready tomorrow, that I'll come tomorrow. So she now said, okay, that she has to call the doctor. She called the doctor, and the doctor said it's okay if I'm not ready. Because I wasn't just ready, like mentally, spiritually, physically, guys, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. So when they told me that the baby was fine and that I could wait till tomorrow, I had to, leave. The next evening, I and my husband, we packed our bags. We went to the hospital. Before they started the inducement, I had already started having like a little contraction, little pain. When we got to the hospital and they started the inducement, the first inducement they gave me was the propest, like a tiny rope. They inserted it into my uterus, and then it was a bit painful, but not so painful. Then I started contracting. I contracted for about 2 hours. 2 hours, guys, and the pains became intense. When it became intense, I asked for pain relief. I was given a pain relief and I became okay. Like, the contraction stopped. And that's a propest that I was given was supposed to be for 12 hours. But the doctor said that if it doesn't fall off after 12 hours, then I have to, have it for 24 hours. So I stopped contracting as soon as I took that pain relief. And I complained to them, and they're like, no problem, that it's going to like come again. So later in the day, I think the contraction came, but it was very little. It was very little. At 12 hours, the propest was still there. Like, I had stopped contraction, and the propest was still there. It had not fallen off. So the doctor was like, okay, if it doesn't fall off at 12 hours, you're going to have it for 24 hours. I had that propest for 24 hours, guys, and nothing happened, guys. Like, nothing happened. After 24 hours, nothing happened. The next morning, the doctor was like, you have to go for a second inducement. And the second inducement was the cock balloon. The cock balloon, like, it's a way of like blowing a balloon and inserting into a woman's cervix. The pains was out of this world. I was taken to the theater to get the cock balloon. I spent like 1 hour in the theater just to get the cock balloon. The doctor tried 3 times. The doctor tried 3 times to see if he can insert the balloon. Like, he will blow the balloon. If he tries to insert it inside, once it gets inside the balloon, it will deflate on its own. So the doctor was complaining that my cervix is too high, that he does not seem to find my cervix. Like, it's too high, he can't find it. So the doctor was now like, okay, let him go and call a specialist to come and try. And at this point, I was already going through so much pains, because it was like, keep opening your legs. I opened my legs so much. He tried to insert it 3 times and he couldn't. He had to. Then he was now like, will you let me try it the last time? And if it doesn't work this last time, I'm going to go and call a specialist to come and do it. So I was like, okay, no problem. Try it the last time. He tried the last time, and to God be the glory. Like, finally, like, he was able to insert the cock balloon. And guys, the pains was something else. Like, for 2 hours, I was in extreme pains. I was contracting. I was just not myself. I was crying. I went to my room. I was wheeled to my room. My lips are getting dry. I think I have to. I contracted for 6 good hours. 6 good hours, and serious contraction, as in intense. I was in pains for 6 good hours, and then later in the day, the pains reduced. And this cock balloon was also meant to be for 12 hours, and if it doesn't fall off on its own, then it will be there for 24 hours. And that was exactly what happened. 12 hours, the cock balloon was still there, and it didn't fall off on its own. I had that cock balloon for 24 hours. This was an inducement. I thought, like, what was in my mind was that I was going to come to the hospital, get induced, have my baby. All I wanted was just to have my baby. But before now, guys, like, they were checking on the baby every 2 hours. They will come in, check on me, check on the baby, and the baby was fine. They made sure that the baby was fine. The baby's heartbeat was very okay. The baby was sleeping all through. Then maybe later in the day the baby would be awake. And then also, if they wanted to know if they wanted the baby to be awake, all they'll do is just to ask me to drink water. Like, my baby was that kind of baby that would sleep all through the day. So they were always checking on me. Baby was very fine. I was very okay. So all through this period that I was going through these 2 inducements, the baby was very, very fine. There was nothing wrong with the baby. So this second inducement failed when the doctor came and checked on me. Guys, with all the pains I had gone through, with all the pains, because the second inducement was, I think it was the pains was just something else. Like, I had an extreme pains. I contracted, and then when the doctor checked on me, after contracting for so long, I was just at 1 centimeter dilated. I was just 1 centimeter, like I hadn't gone anywhere. I and my husband, we asked the doctor, now that this second option failed, what is the third option? And the doctor was like, okay, the third option is that we're going to break your water, and then if we break your water and you still don't contract, hormonal drip that will induce labor. And my husband was like she has gone through so much pains for 3 days. Okay, now if this hormonal drip fails, what next? The doctor said, oh, if the hormonal drip fails, then she's going to go for a C-section. And my husband was like, why don't we have the C-section now than you letting her go through all these pains, and then assuming the inducement fails again, she will now have to go through another pains of going for a C-section. Why don't we have the C-section now? And the doctor said, well, like, I had given birth naturally, that in this hospital they'll give me every option to make sure that I give birth naturally. Then if the options fail, they will now, give me a CS, and that also they know that the baby is very fine. And my husband was like, now 3 days, we've spent 3 days in this hospital, what is the possibility that the baby will not, might not change from being fine to not being fine anymore? The doctor said that there's no possibility, that the baby is very fine, that they are so sure that the baby is fine. So we had to just, we had to do what the doctor said. The 4th day, the cock balloon still did not fall out. It was just removed. It was removed, and they had to break my water. Now, this is where the whole complications, I could not comprehend. Like, I could not understand why a doctor will break somebody's water and will not know if she broke it or not. Okay, so now, on the 4th day that my water was supposed to be broken, 2 doctors came. It was like, the way they do it is just like, you have to have 2 doctors, because one doctor was trying to hold me, push my tummy, while the other doctor was now working on the other doctor was trying to help her, like, push the baby down so that she can see my cervix. And guys, she was trying to break my water. She tried the first time. She told me that she couldn't find my cervix, that my cervix was just too high, I don't know. They were trying to explain to me that there's this thing about African women, that our cervix is a bit higher, is that, like, our body shape is not the same with white women. So it was difficult for her to find my cervix. She said she tried the first time and she couldn't find my cervix. So in her mind, she felt like she broke it. So she told me that she broke the water, but that she's not very sure. The kind of pains I went through when she tried to break my water was not here. Like, it was on another level. Guys, I think I went to heaven and I came back. The pains was something else. The pains was, I don't know, like, this kind of pain, these pains, I've not been able to forget. I've not been able to forget how I felt. She tried the first time and she told me that she wasn't sure she broke the water, and she was like, should she try again? Meanwhile, the pain I went through was something else, but my husband was just there. My husband said, okay, that I should manage. I've already gone through the first pain. I should manage. Let her try again. Guys, she tried the second time, and then she was now like, okay, that she thinks she has broken it. She said she thinks she has broken the water. But when she tried the second time, according to my husband, because I did not see anything because of the way I was lying down, according to my husband, that what she came out with when she inserted her hands into my uterus, that what she came out with was blood. But she expected that at least, even if my water had dried up, even if my water, I didn't have enough water, I should have a little water that should come out from my uterus. She was not sure if she didn't do it. Like, she knew there was something wrong. She knew there was something wrong, but they had already told us that they broke the water. So we went for the fourth option. The fourth option that day, that was the fourth day. The fourth option was to, give me the hormonal drip that will, induce labor. And I went on the hormonal drip, guys. I went on the hormonal drip. Guys, this thing I'm talking about, like, if you watch my vlog, you understand what I'm talking about. And I was not happy because you know what it means. Like, I had hopes that I was going to give birth to this baby without so much pains, because a lot of people would tell me that, oh, how did you feel when you gave birth to your first child? How was it? I'm like, it was easy, it wasn't so bad. So a lot of people would they'll tell me that, oh, if you had your first one easily, then the second one is not going to be a problem. The second one is going to be like super easy. So in my mind, I didn't know I was going to go through this kind of pains. So we started the last inducement, and that was where I was supposed to, give birth. Guys, we started this last inducement at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. They gave me the drip. When they gave me the drip, the first 1 hour, I wasn't feeling anything. Like, my body wasn't just taking all these things. My body wasn't just, responding. The midwife was like, no problem, let's try it for another 2-3 hours. At 3 hours, I had not felt anything. If you watch my vlog, I was still vlogging. I had not felt so much pains at 3 hours. At 4 hours, so I had to call the midwife, because she was super nice. Like, I had to call her. I asked her that, at how many hours can I start feeling serious contraction? She said, well, that she expected me to feel serious contraction, that she doesn't really know why I'm not feeling serious contraction, so that what they're going to do now is to increase it, but that every other woman that they give it to, the first 1 hour, they leave it at 6 centimeters, like the drip flow, that they leave it at 6 centimeters, so that she doesn't really know why my own, even at mine was already, because she kept increasing it, mine was already at 10 centimeters. Guys, I wasn't still feeling much contraction, so she had to increase it to 12 centimeters. At 12 centimeters, that was about 10 o'clock. About 10 o'clock, when she was closing for the afternoon, because she was on afternoon shift, she increased it to 12 centimeters. Then the midwife that came in for the night shift saw that I had, I had this drip for some hours and the contraction wasn't much. The midwife tried to check me. She checked me and saw that I was just still at 1 centimeter, the same 1 centimeter that I had been for days. So the midwife was now like, okay, that what will happen is that they have to increase it, since I am not even dilating at all. They have to increase it. They increase the flow, the drip flow. So she increased it to 16, and the contraction became intense. I was crying. I was just in so much pain. I asked for, because I did not want to go for epidural, guys, because I had heard stories about epidural. I know epidural works for some people, but I know 2 people that I'm very close to that took epidural, and they had it had after effects on them. They had 3 options. If I wanted the epidural, if I don't want the epidural, then they'll give me an injection that can reduce pains. Then if I don't want the injection, then I could go for, either I go for the epidural or I go for the injection and then take the oxygen also. So I had to go for the injection to reduce pains. I took this injection I think I took that injection at 12 midnight, and the pains reduced a little. the pains reduced a little, guys, and after 2 hours the pain was on another level entirely. Like, it was like, from a count of 1 to 10, the pains I was now experiencing was now at 9. You know, it was at 9. I was just crying, and meanwhile, all this time also, they were monitoring my heartbeat, my temperature. They were just monitoring me, and then monitoring the baby also. And the baby was just okay. Baby was fine. Baby was sleeping. My husband was just holding my hands and praying, and because he saw the kind of pains I was going through. But the midwife kept checking on the baby, kept checking me, like every, like, she made sure she checked on me like every 10 minutes. She would check my temperature, check my blood pressure, check like my vital signs. She was like, I'm fine. So now 3 a.m. guys, 3 a.m. the next morning, she tried again to see how much I had dilated. And guys, at 3 a.m. somebody that started contracting at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, at 3 a.m. the next morning, at midnight, as in the next morning, the next day, I was still at 1 centimeter. And that was when the midwife, when she put her hand in my uterus, she now found out that my water, the sac, the amniotic sac, was still there, that it had not been broken. So that water that they said they broke in the morning, they didn't break it. They didn't break it, and they didn't know that they did not break it. So my water was not broken, and she was like your water has not been broken. That is why your cervix is still high. Your cervix, like the whatever, the sac is not coming down. That is why you're not dilating, because your water has not been broken. Guys, we don't know what. So you can imagine at 3 a.m. that was when this midwife noticed that my water was not broken, and she was like, okay, can she break my water? Because she had already called the consultant. The consultant came in and checked on me and said that, because I was crying so much, I was in so much pain, the consultant came in and checked on me and said I was okay, that there's nothing wrong, like it's not an emergency. Checked on the baby and said the baby is okay, that I'm just, contracting, and that is what they need. That is what they need. You can imagine when you're crying and you expect maybe something different to be done, and they will tell you that they need the contraction, they need you to contract, that it's okay, it's normal for you to cry and scream and be in pains, So guys, finally my water was broken, and then I started contracting. And what they did, they had to increase the drip flow now to 20 centimeter, which was just the final, like, you can't increase it more than 20. They had to increase it to 20. Then I was crying, I was screaming. The next thing I knew, I was just shouting, please, can I have a CS? Please, can I have a CS? Like, I'm dying. Please, can I have a CS? Like, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm dying. I need a CS. I need a CS. Like, I was shouting, and my husband was like, please, let her just do a CS. This pain is just so much. The midwife was like, she doesn't need a CS. She's in labor. She doesn't need a CS. It's not an emergency. My husband said, okay, but we need a CS. Like, we need a CS. You just have to do this. And the midwife said, no, you can't just have a CS like that. There is no doctor. You have to book for a CS. All the doctors are working at the emergency. You have to book for a CS. We don't just, give someone a CS. Like, we don't just do this. And my husband said, what if there was something wrong and she needed a CS? Will you deny us a CS? The midwife said, no, we know there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Guys, like, there's something, the experience I had is that what I just got to know, guys, like, from the experience I had, I just know that these midwives, I think they just know when you're in labor. So they've already heard these cries and shouts and everything. It's not like anything to them again. Because, like, I'm crying and shouting, I need a CS. And she's telling me, you're in labor, you don't need a CS. I don't get. I need a CS. This is my body. I need a CS. And she was telling me, no, you're in labor. You don't need a CS. If you needed a CS, we would have known before now. But at the end of the day, as God could have it, guys, as God could have it, they gave me the oxygen. It was just the oxygen. The oxygen God saved my life, but the oxygen really worked. Like anytime I'm contracting, because now at this point I was contracting at every two minutes, two minutes I was contracting. Anytime I'm contracting, my husband will just put the oxygen in my mouth, or I'll get his hand and put the oxygen in my mouth because he was holding it. I'll just put it in my mouth, and then after contraction I'll rest for a while. Once it starts again, I'll take the oxygen into my mouth again. So from that 3 a.m. guys, that was how I contracted till I think 6 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock when they checked on me, I was 5 centimeter, and we were so happy. The midwife herself, she was happy that at least for the first time in a long time I was able to get to 5 centimeter. So guys, like at 8:30 I gave birth. After like 4 push, I gave birth to my beautiful bouncing baby. Is it beautiful? No, I gave birth to my handsome bouncing baby boy. I gave birth to my baby boy, and as soon as I pushed and brought him out, like all the pains I felt, all the pains like disappeared. God, I don't know, like all the pains disappeared as soon as I held my baby, guys. And baby was very fine. Like baby's heartbeat, baby was crying, everything. Baby was just okay. The only difference was just that his birth weight reduced, because before I gave birth to him, his weight was 38 kg. Then the day I now delivered him, the day I now gave birth to him, his weight reduced. He was now 36 kg. But that wasn't bad. Like he was okay. He was very fine. And then after 2 days we went back home. Then now guys, when we got back home, I was enjoying my baby. I was so happy to be carrying my baby around. But my husband had to go back to work. Like my husband went back to work. That was when the whole thing now dawned on me. I became so depressed, guys. I don't know, like I became so unhappy. I think maybe because of the stress of being the one to just take care of my baby. And I had some tears, guys. I had stitches. So I was in so much pains. You know what it means, like you're in so much pain, you have to carry your baby. I had to wake up to feed my baby. I wasn't just finding things like so easy. I was just lonely. My husband had to go back to work because he had just 1 week to be with us, and we had already spent almost about the whole week in the hospital. So he had to go to work. He tried to make things easier for me. He would cook, bring everything upstairs so that we can have food to eat when he's away. But even at that, like it wasn't really like what the kind of experience I would have had if I had my baby in Nigeria. Because I know that if I had my baby in Nigeria, at least my mom, my siblings, I have aunties, my husband's sisters, I would have had enough help. But here I was the only one to carry my baby. I had stitches, I was in pains, and then the baby was bottle feeding also, because when the baby came out, like he couldn't suck, so we had to go do bottle feeding. Though my breast milk was flowing, but baby couldn't just suck, so we had to introduce bottle feeding. So I'll have to, like, I missed Nigeria. I missed being in Nigeria, because I know if I was in Nigeria, I would have had help. Even if it's from a neighbor. And my mom too, I would have had the help from my mom. But being that my mom didn't come, I was so depressed. One of those days, I was just crying to my husband. Like, I was just crying that I wish I was in Nigeria. Being close to family. But here, like, you don't really have help here. Everybody is busy. Everybody is working. Nobody is going to leave their job to come and stay with you because you had a baby. Like you're not going to pay the person's bills. Everybody have bills to pay, you know. Huh. So guys, I was so depressed. I was so depressed. Like I missed, you know, having my baby in Nigeria, where I would have had my family around, you know, where I would have had my family around, where I would have had help, where I would have had like friends come around, where I would have had like good food, fresh food. I feel like the experience I had here, apart from maybe in the hospital, like, you know, being at home, I would have had help from a lot of people. So the depression was just on another level. I was depressed for a while, and then the only thing I now did was that I just decided to start going for the baby group. I decided to go for the baby group because the health worker came around and she was like, you need to start going for the baby group. Though my stitches were still there, I wasn't really healed, but I had to start going out. I was so depressed. I had to start going out. I had to start going out. I had to start going to the baby group, you know, to the health center to meet other mothers. So it was at the baby group that it was going out to the babies group that made me feel more comfortable. Like I met other moms. We shared our experiences. Some people even had worse experience than me. I know someone that said she had her inducement every two weeks. She had it for 3 times for 2 weeks. She had her inducement 3 times 2 weeks and it didn't work. So I heard other people's experience. I was just, you know, fine, and baby is fine. I am very well, and I'm happy to be here to share my story with you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you guys. Please, if you like this video and like this video, like it. If you like this video, share it, comment, and don't forget to press that red subscribe button, and also tune in your notification to know when next I send a video. Thank you guys so much. See you in my next video, and love you. Bye. How do I look? Bye.